Hey guys, this is Darren here with Creativity Unleashed, and in this video I just wanted to talk about doing the cutouts on shipping containers of like doors and windows and things like that for whatever construction project you are doing. In the past several years I've done quite a bit of construction with shipping containers and worked with some really cool architects that do some amazing work around the world, and I've learned a lot from them and hope I can share some of the knowledge and things I picked up along the way. There's a lot of ways of doing things, so hope you guys find this video helpful. Alright, so right here is a big old angle grinder. You can definitely do your cutouts with an angle grinder, works well, but it can definitely get a bit fatiguing, especially if you're a small person like me. It can be a little challenging cutting overhead. I really love using a plasma cutter because that it allows you to cut out any shape. You can cut out circles and everything for plumbing or whatever other things you run into. And when you're working with metal, it's just amazing to have a plasma cutter on hand. So this here is the Hypertherm PowerMax 30 XP. I really love Hypertherm. They're one of the best plasma cutters on the market. They just work really well. This one can handle up to about 1/2 inch steel pretty well. And it also works on 120 volt as well as 240 volt. So that's one of the reasons I have this one. It requires about a 2 horsepower air compressor to operate correctly. You can just check the spec sheet on whatever you're getting to make sure you match up your compressor well. One of the things that's super important about plasma cutting that I feel like a lot of people don't cover as well as they should is air drying. This here is a oil separator and desiccant dryer that has like the silica something desiccant beads that you can get in bottles, and as these change color, they start out blue and they turn red as they absorb moisture, and then you can replace them, and also some of them can be dried out again and reused. You also probably want to have a moisture separator on your compressor, and if you're in somewhere like Florida or somewhere tropical where the humidity is really high and that's not working out well, you might even need a refrigerant air dryer that cools the air down enough to its like dew point where it starts separating, and you can separate the moisture really well with one of those, but probably not as commonly seen on your job site. If you have moist air or oil in the air, it'll mess the consumables up really fast and even cause the arc to go out while you're cutting. It can cause all kinds of issues, so just real important there. Alright, remember always read through and understand your safety protocols well, gloves and glasses and all that good stuff. We might cover some of those details more in another video. We'll also be talking about in an upcoming video how to do the frames around the doors and windows, as well as insulation, and hopefully another video talk about how to best utilize the strengths and weaknesses of shipping containers. So I hope you guys subscribe and enjoy the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer them as best I can. Alright, I just wanted to talk about doing the doors and window cutouts and some of the things to keep in mind when measuring and cutting out. So if we're going to do a door cutout here, and then a window cutout here, one of the things that's interesting about shipping containers is being that they're corrugated, it kind of goes in, over, back, over, out, over. Anyway, you get the idea. It's corrugated. So they basically have straight edges going up and down. Here, we'll draw those. So some of the things to consider. On windows and doors, it might not be as important because they're smaller cutouts. But you want to always start by cutting the bottom first with the plasma cutter or grinder to help keep from binding. If you were to cut the top first and then the bottom, potentially the weight of it pressing down could make the want to bind or close up behind your cut. Then you want to cut the sides. And when you're cutting the top, you might want to do it in segments. And then once you're ready to finish, cut out the middle segments, and then finally the corners. And to be extra safe, you can put like 2x4s or something leaning against it to make sure that when you finish cutting, it falls out away from you, and just make sure the area is clear. So of course, same over here, cut the bottom, sides, and doorway. One of the other things I'd like to mention is that containers are relatively very precisely made. And so you have the advantage if you're prefabricating them on the ground before they're like lifted into place, that you can just measure up off of the floor, make your lines on the container walls of where things go to. You can use a framing level to make the mark across the top and bottom. And if you want to follow the corrugation well, you can use even some cardboard or another flexible material to follow the corrugation. The other thing to take note of is beans that you have these vertical lines of the corrugation, you can use those as straight edges for following for cuts. So it can make it really nice for plasma cutting. You can just utilize the existing lines that are already bent into the metal. And the same for doors and windows and all of that. In this other example here, if you're wanting to cut all of a wall out to join two containers together, whether you were separating the spaces between them and adding flooring and roofing, or if you were just adding them together. One of the things to keep in mind is you're going to use the same principle of cutting the bottom first. One thing you probably want to do is to leave, if you're going to lift these later, is to leave about a 1 foot space in the middle, still connected, so that when you go to move them with a crane, the stresses of lifting will be able to be supported by this. Another thing to consider is after you've made your cutout and then your segmented cuts, is if you were to want to bend the wall, which is a very good option to change the interior design of the house, instead of always just cutting out something, you can cut out the bottom and then the end, the top, and simply bend this to make a curved shape room, which can work really well. And if you want a sharper bend, you can simply cut notches into it and leave it partly together. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. In another video, we'll talk about optimizing containers, the construction of them, how to get the most out of their strengths and weaknesses, and how to best utilize them to make the best house you can, or whatever other structure. All right. So I'd just like to mention, in a lot of the footage, I'm not following the best practice or the way I recommended to cut things out. I was trying some other ways, and on small cutouts it doesn't tend to matter very much how you cut them out, so that's good to know. And also, the metals can have some stresses in them, so while you're cutting, if you like hear it start popping or making noises, just be aware that the metal could spring a little bit. It can vary quite a bit between containers. So just one other thing to mention is on a lot of those cutouts, I was just helping some friends out with their design they had. Wasn't a design that I did myself, so I just wanted to put that out there. So if you're questioning the design work, I wasn't involved with the last 3 containers in their design that I'm showing the cutouts on.